on your breath and visualize the part of body you are exercising. That is what will bring maximum benefit through yoga. That is what really is yoga. Otherwise, it's just plain and simple exercise. Yoga is designed to increase energy of communication between body systems. It stimulates better immune system and body's repair mechanism. It makes you feel better. But the same set of palliative yoga exercises also has a therapeutic effect. And Dr. Rajan has innovated on a very unique yoga therapy method called measured yoga therapy, where we measure how the nadis on our fingertips are performing. And on the basis of that, we can recommend some very targeted exercises that can benefit your particular condition. Close to 1,000 people have gone through our yoga therapy program, and people with complex illnesses and side effects of medications have had substantial benefits through our yoga therapy program. So feel free to reach out. My email address and Jayashree Prakash's email address are right here. Points to note about today's yoga class. First and foremost, please follow instructions to avoid adverse reactions. Important instruction is to keep your spine straight and take support if needed. And do your practices gently without strain. If it is too much strain on the body, then it's not yoga by definition. Also, there is a limit in duration or count. Please follow it. When you have doubt, avoid the practice or seek clarification, but remember that the liability is entirely yours. Do not multitask or merge two exercises. The slower you do, the better it is for you. The other very important thing is regular discipline practice. So if you miss a day, use the video recording from our yoga channel on YouTube, Life in Yoga Rajan. Yoga brings good health of mind and body. It brings inner awareness and a sense of cosmic connection. I also wanted to make an announcement about a seminar that'll be done, that'll be presented by one of our attendees, Dr. Mukesh Verma, on cancer prevention and the potential role of meditation, yoga, and diet. And Dr. Verma is chief of methods and technology branch and program director for epidemiology and genomics research program at National Cancer Institute, which is part of National Institutes of Health. And he's a really a distinguished researcher and a great friend and a great participant in all our yoga activities and social activities. So don't miss it out. It's on Thursday, 7 o'clock, right after this class. We'll continue with that seminar. With that, I'll let Dr. Rajan start today's session.
Namaste everyone. As usual, we begin with 3 ohms. Let's take a deep breath in. And my usual question, anybody who is new, who has not done our chakra vibration before, if there is anybody like that, please unmute and say yes. Otherwise, I will assume all of you are familiar with it. Okay, so nobody has identified. So bring your awareness. Okay, somebody has sent this thing. Okay, so bring your awareness to the perineum and press on the little finger. And we do the mantra LUM. Take a deep breath in. LUM. LUM. Release the fingers and continue. LUM. Now, bring the awareness 1 inch above the perineum, and focusing there, we do VAM, pressing on the ring finger with the thumb. Take a deep breath in. VAM. 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 Release the finger and continue. Bring your awareness behind the navel, and here we do Ram, pressing on the middle finger with the thumb. Take a deep breath in. Ram. 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 Release the fingers and continue. Ram. Now bring the awareness to the middle of the chest, in between the breasts, and here we do Yam, and we press on the index finger with the thumb. Yam. Yam. Yum. Release the finger and continue. Yum. At the throat, we do hum, thumbs up, loose fist. Hum. Release the hand and continue. Hum. Bring the awareness to the middle of the head. There we do chum. Again, thumbs up, loose fist. Chum. 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 Release the hand and continue. Chum. Top of the head, Om, thumbs up, loose fist. Om. Release the hands and continue. Now we are ready for the Ujjayi Pranayama. Bal Mukund, I have a thought for you. I notice that the Sunday group is usually a smaller group, and these are the people who are regular attendees. It takes very little time on the chakra vibration to clear out the chakras for them. I think this group is an ideal group where on Sunday after the session, we can have a half hour of any spiritual discussion you want if they have an interest. And so things like the yoga perspective, nature of living. So this is the right group. Okay, so let's continue with the Ujjayi Pranayama. So bring those of you who know, please proceed. And for those of you who need instruction, with your eyes closed, bring your awareness to the throat, the lowermost part of the mouth that connects into the neck. So focusing there, make a big smile, and you should feel a slight stretch in the throat. And focusing on the stretch in the throat, take slow, long, deep breaths and feel the air as if they are rubbing along the stretch in the throat that has been created by the big smile. When you inhale, it should feel like a mild sucking sensation. Exhale, it should feel the reverse sucking sensation. Please continue. Now let's go on to the respiratory mantra. So bring your awareness to the middle of the chest, behind the sternum, and from there visualize the flowing vibration through the top of the head and out of the head. And the vibration you use is Haim Em So feel the vibration moving. Haim Em Haim Em Haim Em Continue. I see people are posing questions that are related to spiritual understanding. Please feel free to put it in the chat box, and the end we'll keep half an hour extra beginning from today. So now let's go on to our spinal alignment exercises. We can do it with our hands behind, or you can do it with the hands loose. If you do it with the hands behind, holding the elbows, and with each inhalation, pulling open the shoulders and expanding the chest, and as you exhale, doing whatever movement you do, the impact will be more, but it may be a little strained for some of you. So do it within your capacity. If it does not strain yourself, do it, but don't do it with strain, okay? So it's your choice. So I'm going to do it without strain today so that nobody feels that they should hold the hand. Okay? So take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, gently tilt the head with bring the one ear towards the shoulder. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, go towards the other shoulder. Inhale, come back up, and continue. Last exhalation. Inhale, come back. And as you exhale, rotate the head and look over one shoulder. Inhale, come back. Exhale, rotate the other way. Inhale, come back, and continue. Last exhalation. Inhale, come back. With the next inhalation, lift up the chin and take the head back. And as you exhale, bring the chin down towards the chest and continue. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Bring the chin down to the chest, and then we go 360 degrees around the neck. Inhale half a circle and exhale, complete the circle and continue. Last circle, and let's go in the reverse direction. Last circle, inhale half a circle, exhale, complete the circle. And now let's go on to the shoulder exercises. Inhale, lift up left shoulder and rotate, bring down. Inhale, right shoulder, exhale, and bring it down. Continue. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Now let's raise the hands up. Inhale, lift up the palms, stretch out the fingers. Exhale, thumb in and make a downward facing fist. Inhale up, exhale down. Continue. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Now we go around the wrist. Inhale, half a circle. Exhale, complete the circle and continue. Inhale and exhale. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Now let's go reverse. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Elbows in line with the shoulders, loose fist. As we inhale, we open out the palm and go around the wrist. Exhale, come down and make the fist again and continue. Inhale and exhale. Last inhalation and exhalation. Now let's go reverse. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Let's interlock the fingers, bring it behind the head, and as you exhale, turn the entire spine to one side. Inhale, come back. Exhale the other way. Inhale, come back, and continue. Focus on moving the shoulder and the spine follows. The focus is on the shoulders. Last exhalation. Inhale, come back. Now get hold of the elbows behind the head. And as you exhale, pull on one elbow. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, pull on the other elbow and continue. Last exhalation. Inhale, come back. Now, let's just loosen up our shoulders. Inhale, lift up the shoulders. Exhale, rotate it back. Last inhalation and last exhalation. Get your hands behind your back, and as we exhale, we turn completely to one side from the hip and inhale, come back. Exhale the other way, inhale, come back, and continue. Last exhalation turn, inhale, come back. And now we can go on to holding our hips behind the back and holding the hips there. As we inhale, we push on one hand and make a backward arch. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, go the other way, other hand, and exhale, come forward. Continue. Last inhalation and come forward. Now we are ready to cross one leg over the other. And so bring one leg over the other. And as you exhale, pull towards one side and the head goes the other way. Inhale, release. Exhale, pull and turn. Last exhalation, pull and turn. Now let's cross over the other leg. Exhale, pull and turn. Last exhalation, pull and turn. Now we will do the cycling exercise with the leg. Inhale, lift up the leg. Exhale, stretch it out and bring it down. So we'll do the same leg 5 times. Let's continue. 3, 4. Actually, we'll do more. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's go to the other leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now we can stand up, and from the standing up position, we get our hands behind the back. And those of you who have balance issue, you can do it seated on the chair or hold the chair when you do it instead of bring your hand behind the back. Keep the feet shoulder width apart, inside of the feet parallel to each other. And from that position, inhale, pull back the shoulders and lift up the chin. And as you exhale, gently start to tilt from the hip. And make sure the back does not bend. Chin always stays up. And only come to the degree that is comfortable for you. Don't push yourself more than where you feel comfortable. As you stay up, as you inhale and exhale, slowly over a period of time, the back will get relieved. Take a deep breath in and slowly come up. And now we can go in for the alternate nostril breathing and then to Bhastrika Pranayama. So actually, before we go to the alternate nostril breathing, let's do mental relaxation of the body. We won't do part by part relaxation. Just close your eyes and become aware of all the parts of your body. Take a deep breath in. Feel wherever you feel tightness or anything, and direct the vitality of the breath going to that part of the body. And as you exhale, feel it relax. Inhale and exhale, and do that for about 5 breaths. Now we are going to change the breath slightly differently. When you inhale, feel like the awareness is coming right behind the forehead in the middle of the brain. And as you exhale, feel the vitality spreading to all parts of the body, going towards the extremities. Let's continue with that. Please check to see how the air is in both the nostrils. If it is blowing with equal strength, you're done. And if it is different, Start doing alternate nostril breathing for a minute or two. If it is the same, what you can do is keep your awareness in the middle of the head and continue to do the same breath if it is the same. Now, today is the day of the spinal mantra. So we will do the spinal mantra first, and then after that, we will do the Bhastrika Pranayama and meditation. So I will start the instruction and the process for the spinal mantra. We do the 7 mantras from the feet and ankle to the knees to the lowermost part of the spine, which is in between the buttocks and the back, and then the lumbar spine, the thoracic spine, the cervical spine in the neck, and then in the back of the head, in the very top, called the Shikha point. The mantra for the feet and neck are the same, that is Aim. Now let us begin from the feet and ankle with mantra Aim, moving to knees where we vibrate Shim, and move on to the base of the spine where we do Jim. Aim, Shim, 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 Jim. Now we move from the base of the spine to the lumbar region, then to the thoracic or the back region of the spine with Jim, Jaim, Haim. So let's go. Jim, Jaim, Haim. 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 Now we move from the thoracic spine to the spine and the neck to the back of the head with Haim, Aim, Om. Let's go. Haim, Aim, Om. 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 I'm Om. I'm Om. I'm Om. I'm Om. I'm Om. Now we do all the 7 mantras in sequence, starting from the feet and ankle. I'm Shim Jim Jim I'm Om. 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 I'm Shim Jim Jam 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 Ham 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 I'm Om. Now we will go on to Bhastrika Pranayam. So let's get ready with your hand position either in the belly or hands in a loose fist with elbows by the side of the chest. And let's go. 1, exhale. 2, exhale. 3, exhale. 4, exhale. 5, exhale. 6, exhale. 7, exhale. 8, exhale. 9, exhale. 10, exhale. 11, exhale. 12, exhale. 30, exhale. 40, exhale. 50, exhale. 60, exhale. 70, exhale. 80, exhale. 90, exhale. 20, exhale. Bring down the hands, keep the eyes closed, and observe the sensations within. Let's go on to the second round. Let's get ready. 1, exhale. 2, exhale. 3, exhale. 4, exhale, 5, exhale, 6, exhale, 7, exhale, 8, exhale, 9, exhale, 10, exhale, 11, exhale, 12, exhale, 30, exhale, 40, exhale, 50, exhale, 60, exhale, 70, exhale, 80, exhale, 90, exhale, 20, exhale. Close your eyes. Observe the sensations with it. Now we can go on to the third round. Get ready. Let's go. 1, exhale. 2, exhale. 3, exhale. 4, exhale. 5, exhale. 6, exhale. 7, exhale. 8, exhale. 9, exhale. 10, Exhale. 11. Exhale. 12. Exhale. 30. Exhale. 40. Exhale. 50. Exhale. 60. Exhale. 70. Exhale. 8. Exhale. 9. Exhale. 20. Exhale. Bring down the hand, keep your eyes closed, and observe the sensations with it. A good proportion of you are ready for meditation. Is there anybody who wants another round of Bhastrika? Okay, let me do the following. It's a small proportion of people, including me, because I have a back problem that I want to heal. That's why you see me standing some of the time. So I'm going to do Bhastrika for myself. But the rest of you, since most of you are saturated and you're ready for meditation, let's begin the meditation process. And those of you who need to do an extra round of Bhastrika, please carry on your own. Okay? So those of you who are ready for meditation, mentally, tell yourself, I give up all ideas and concepts and I care about nothing. I let go of everything. I let go of everything. And when you feel yourself fully, the shoulders feeling light and the awareness is going up above the head, if you have a personal mantra, focus on it. If you don't have a personal mantra, use the mantra Haim Im Om and feel the Om flowing out through the top of the head. And as you stay focused over there, we will have Om playing in the background. Those of you who want to do another round of Bhastrika, do it on your own. Mentally affirm to yourself, may I be guided to fulfill the purpose for which I am born. And with that as the thought, become aware of your senses within. From the top of the head to the bottom of the feet, become aware of the senses. And when you feel it fully, then at that point in time, you can raise your hands up and look straight into the palm of your hands. And open your eyes. Okay. So, Balmukund, are you still there somewhere? He's still there. So, Balmukund, are we okay to proceed?
Yeah. We can go ahead. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, today's subject that I'll talk about is Jnana Yoga. And this is something that aptly the question has been raised by one of the participants here, and that is TV Srinivasan. How to synchronize sadhana chatushtaya and jnana yoga in practices, and how to move from dvaita to advaita sadhana. Anantam and Ananda, can we get a perspective? Okay. And then, of course, other thing that is, we have a question from Rakesh Dhawan is, if you can please elaborate on the visualization doing chakram mantra, respiratory mantra, and during meditation. And so these are these questions that have been raised, and somebody has asked for a personal mantra. And so all of these I can address in this context. So let's first understand, when we talk about Jnana Yoga, what does it really mean? You see, the real yoga, or yoga as we say, it is all about connectivity. However, because people don't understand what exactly connectivity is until they experience it, with minor experiences, people start saying various things. So what happens is, you go into a temple and you feel a little high over there. Ah, that is Bhakti Yoga. Okay? As somebody says. And somebody does a pranayam and they feel the inner silence and the lightness within. And oh, that is yoga. So what it is the connectivity is yoga. The practice is not the yoga. However, the practice that lead to that have also been called as yoga. And what you will typically find is the same practice for 100% of the people will not necessarily be having the same reaction. Each person is different in their own way. Now, the mental concept of letting go can be so relieving that sometimes when people feel that high, they call it as yoga. In fact, to understand the nature of yoga, or yoga as we say, is we need to understand from the topmost people who have experienced it what it really means. So if we want to understand that, let's look at the case of Ramana Maharishi, who is the epitome of Jnana Yoga. And we will relate that with Kashmir Shaivism. And from there, I will come on to the role of mantras, people who are asking for their personal mantra. And from there, I will come to the role of visualization in all the practices we do. Okay? So if we think in terms of Ramana Maharishi was in a kind of a state where he mentally asked, who am I? And in that particular moment, in his, I guess, late teens or around whatever, you all know better, whether he was 16 years old or 18 years old or whatever. At that point in time, he had that experience of near death and he knew what existence was all about, right? So that experience of you mentally, the system is ready. All you had to do was mentally ask, who am I? And you had all the answers. That is the real Jnana Yoga. So when people say, by mentally reading and affirming, that is the path of Jnana Yoga, that is the way it has come to be from various institutions and how they have spread. The Indian system is such, what we call as Sanatana Dharma. We never negate anything that brings people's focus. So nobody's Shraddha or faith should be interfered with. Whichever path they are going, finally the realization is when they see that everything leads to the same place, that is the real realization of Sanatana Dharma. So in other words, what happens is, whatever way in which people explain that brings people's mind to focus and that brings satisfaction of some degree within people, whether it is right or wrong, we don't judge. We accept it, that's where they are beginning. They will find when the time comes, they will have the higher realization to go there. That is the approach of the Sanatana Dharma approach. So when people talk about, it is learning, that is what Jnana Yoga, that is not the higher and the correct conception. But we don't argue with it. Let people say what they want. And of course, they often say Jnana Yoga is Shravana, Manana, and a Nididhyasana. You hear, and then you reflect on it, and then you realize what it is. Shravana and Manana is not yoga. The Nididhyasana is yoga. So Nididhyasana is when you're able to connect, that is when yoga happens. So what is the role of reading and trying to analyze? This is the role of mental affirmations. Where the mind goes, the energy follows. right? So now that we are beginning to understand, when somebody asks us the question, how do we understand about, sadhana chatushtaya and the Jnana Yoga practices? Well, from a yoga standpoint, none of that is relevant, because the real yoga is to experience it for yourself. So in the sadhana chatushtaya system, they tell you what are the 4 places you need to focus on. If it helps someone to follow that path, so be it. But that is not yoga. That is, it is like, the 10 commandments that tell you, be a good person. And that will lead you there. That is the way sadhana chatushtaya should be understood. So in other words, the reason why we do this practice over here is learn to experience and forget concepts. And so let's understand the experience of Ramana Maharishi from the perspective of Jnana Yoga. He simply asked, who am I? And he realized it. But he was a very poor teacher. Anybody who came, he told them, ask yourself, who am I? You'll find the answer. And 99.999% of the people found no answer. They kept saying, sitting, asking, who am I? But that very small percentage who had the purity within, and they asked, who am I? They had the same experience as Ramana Maharishi. And they will speak highly about it. And others, they are all still searching for it. Now, a great deal of clarity is provided by the system of Kashmir Shaivism that explains this with a high degree of clarity. By the way, Kashmir Shaivism and associated with it is the Sri Vidya that was propagated by Swami Rama of the Himalayan tradition. They have some of the highest understanding of the integrative understanding. But when I say this, Swami Rama is no more. And the people who may be propagating the system may not have the same degree of understanding and knowledge. And unless you have the understanding and knowledge, you cannot propagate it effectively. Too often you start propagating a religion as opposed to propagating understanding. Our role is to that understanding and leading to the experience is what is important, and not making anything into a religion. And so coming back, in the Kashmir Shaivism, they talk about people are in one of 4 states. And people who are in that high level of purity, they are said to be ready for, upaya means solution. They are ready for Shambhopaya. Shambhopaya means, it is said, all you mentally do is ask, who am I? Or whatever question you ask, everything comes to you. That is the Shambhopaya of Kashmir Shaivism. And that is what Ramana Maharshi experienced. But that is for very, 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 very few people. 1 in a million, or who knows more, 1 in 100 million or whatever. And that would create an experience for that person. The person had to do nothing. When the person was born, the person was already a purified person and connected. So now what is it that prevents people from being in that state when you are born? If they can be like that, why can't you and every one of us be in that state? So the answer to that question is, each one of us is born with a set of programs. And what is the program? As they say, we are all a product of many, many births and things like that. So we have to ask, what caused the first birth? The first birth that was caused is the flow of the cosmic program. And of course, it is described in many, many ways in different traditions. In the Christian tradition and in the Jewish tradition, it all begins with Adam and Eve. And, tasting that apple created the initial sin, and that's why people are all born sinners or whatever. But in the Indian tradition, we say that in the same terms as that is the cycle of creation and dissolution is the nature of the cosmos. Being static and smooth is not the nature of the cosmos. And so that is expressed in the form of stories that come from the Puranas. And of course, the Durga Saptashati, or what is called Devi Mahatmyam in South India, and what is called Chandipat in Bengal. This one is an extraction from the Markandeya Purana. So in this one, there are 3 stories of Devi that is created over there. And who is the concept of Devi? The concept of Devi is that energy that begins the process of creation, maintenance, and dissolution. That is the energy, that is what is Devi. However, Devi comes out of the unmanifest. So they talk about the concept of Sadashiva or Parashiva, or from there, Shakti emerges, and from there everything happens. So the first story in the 3 stories that come over there, the first story is a very unusual story. I don't know how many of you have ever pondered on it. That story is considered where the unmanifest, in that tradition, the unmanifest is called Ananta Padmanabha. You see, in the Vaishnava tradition, the unmanifest, totality of reality is called Ananta Padmanabha or Narayana or Mahavishnu. In the Shaiva system, the same thing is called as Sadashiva, Parashiva. Concept is that. So now, when we in the story that comes is Ananta Padmanabha and is Ananta Shayana, that is the totality is in that complete restful state. And at that time, the energy for new creation comes in the form of Brahma coming in a lotus out of the navel of Ananta Padmanabha. The moment that Brahma appears, out of the ears of Ananta Padmanabha come 2 people who are called, 2 entities called Madhu and Kaitaba. And these 2 people want to go and kill Brahma because they don't want creation to happen. They want everything is peaceful, let it stay that way. And then at that time, Madhu and Kaitaba, then at that time, the baby Brahma prays to Mahamaya. And Mahamaya, who is with Ananta Padmanabha in the form of Kali or inert energy, goes away from Ananta Padmanabha. So that way, the Tamoguna is gone. So the Ananta Padmanabha wakes up and he fights with these Madhu and Kaitaba. Madhu and Kaitaba are Sattva Purushas. You know, many of you have this concept of Sattva is good and Tamas is bad and all of that. In this particular story, Kali is Tamas and she is the one who has overcome Ananta Padmanabha, and so he is in deep slumber. He cannot wake up because he is overcome by the Tamas. And Mahamaya leaves Ananta Padmanabha, so the Tamas is gone. That is how Ananta Padmanabha is able to wake up. However, Madhu and Kaitaba are Sattva Purusha, like change. They want to be in smooth flow. And so, Ananta Padmanabha is ready to fight with these 2 people. But because these 2 people are Sattva Purushas, Ananta Padmanabha cannot defeat them. They are equal to Ananta Padmanabha, Sattva Purushas. And so what happens? Mahamaya enters them, and Mahamaya enters them, makes them feel lot of pride in their head. Oh, we are equal to Ananta Padmanabha. Even Ananta Padmanabha cannot, the divine God cannot defeat us. And so what happens is, in that pride they say, Ananta Padmanabha, even you cannot defeat us. Ask us any boon you want and we'll give it to you. So Ananta Padmanabha says, I want your head. So being Sattva Purushas, they have to be true to their intent. They hang their head and Ananta Padmanabha chops off their head. So Brahma is saved and creation comes. So think of it in terms of how that by creation can only happen because by programming. And programming by nature is something that is created to expand and contract. And therefore, what you call as the initial sin that causes creation, or what you might call as in the yoga, what we call as the initial klesha that causes all of creation, that is part of all of us that will start in the first creation. Now, from that point in time, any reactivity to whatever we are doing, and why does reactivity comes? Because along with our ability to the way in which we are programmed, there is one other thing that comes along with us. When we are endowed in this body, we are like in remote control relative to the cosmos. The cosmos, each one of us doing what we do, contribute into the cosmic flow. And therefore, in effect, all of us are in one team to serve the purpose of the cosmos. And so that is how we say that each of us have our swadharma, and our swadharma, when it is appropriate, fits within the Shashvata dharma, the cosmic flow. So each one of us have to protect the body in order for us to complete our swadharma before we leave our body. And in order to protect our body, our inner senses have been given many things. Now, the 5 types of programming within us, which in Vedanta has been combined and made into 3, is the role of the mind, the role of the buddhi, or understanding the nature of what existence is all about, and the role of me, or the ahamkara, or the ego that is mentioned often. Now, if all of us came with a complete understanding what of existence is all about, then in which case we will say there is no point of any action. And this is expressed in the Puranas in a very interesting way. Many of you might have heard of the Sanat Kumaras, right? Can you raise hand? How many people have heard of the Sanat Kumaras? Yes. So what happens is, Sanat Kumaras came with complete wisdom, knowledge of what existence is all about. And because they came with the knowledge of all of the existence of all of this thing, they see no purpose in life. And so they were unwilling to procreate and create more chaos in the society, a more world expansion and all of that. They are very much happy, like in the state of Madhu and Kaitaba, no need to go and create more chaos. Let's all be in that peaceful state. So what happens is, if you come with complete vidya, that is with complete awareness of what existence is all about, there is no more motivation for you to do anything. That is why, Daksha, who came as the 10th son of Brahma, became the Daksha Prajapati, who started procreation, right? So the thing is basically, by nature, in order for people to do their roles, they cannot come with full jnana. If they came with full knowledge, intellect, they will not be motivated to go and do the programming that they have been given. Therefore, by design, people will not come with complete awareness, complete knowledge. And what else? So they will come with what is called at least some degree of avidya or a high degree of avidya, they will come. However, along with that, they have been given the idea of like and dislike. That is the role of the mind. In yoga, that is called raga and dvesha. And at the same time, there has been given the sense of ego, which has two sides. Me, the doer, and me, the experiencer. So this has been given for a specific purpose. You have to protect yourself. You see, if you don't have the sense of me, you will go and jump into the flame and think nothing about it. Okay? So what happens is, so you have been given all of these things in order to protect the body, to fulfill the purpose for which you are born, the program, to fulfill the program within. And so what happens is, these same abilities of the like and dislike, which is part of your programmed entity, and the sense of me, the doer, and me, the experiencer, while it is meant for you to be the protector, and all of this with the 5 organs of senses that are going to play into these things, the same sense organs working with this in a reactive mode creates karmas. The reactivity is, oh, I don't want this, I shouldn't go here. And you call, and that is, it's good enough if you don't want to go somewhere. But what happens is, once something happens that you don't like or dislike, and you feel affected by it, that reaction is what creates karmas. So when Arjun goes and kills somebody in the battle, he feels nothing about killing, it's my duty, it was meant to happen. There is no karma attached. Whereas on the other hand, you go and do something and you regret what has happened, you will certainly have karmas. By the same token, you go and do something nice. You go and give a big donation to a charitable organization, and you get a big plaque over there and you feel very happy and proud. I was able to support this. You will get positive karmas. That is called punya. And that is not helpful either in order to go further beyond that. So you neither want punya nor papa, the negative regrets. So the thing is basically, this is the reactivity is what causes karmas. So now, as people go through one lifetime to another, what is the one that relieves the person finally? It is the Atma Vidya, that is the avidya begins to go away. What is the process of avidya going away? And that is what results in the jnana coming on. The process of avidya going away is the cosmic connectivity that is created. The cosmic connectivity that is created within us is, the connectivity has an inherent potential. Every night when we go to sleep, when our other senses are all in a low mode, there is enough energy to activate our cosmic transmitter. And that is the source of the immunity strength in the body. And that is the source of inspirations and awareness that people get. Anybody who cannot have a good night's sleep is a completely cursed person. That person must have done something terribly wrong, because sleep is the way of the cosmic connectivity for normal people. Now, on the other hand, now the same cosmic connectivity can be established through the meditative process without falling asleep. Then you're aware of the connectivity, and in that connectivity, if you ask whatever questions, you will get the answer back.
Meditation करे त्यारे job मળી जाए.
Please don't interrupt. I'm going to mute everyone. Okay. So the cosmic connectivity can happen even while you're awake with doing the mantra, doing any form of meditative practice. So in that cosmic connectivity, you can slowly, with connectivity, even with mentally, you may have any questions in your mind. Any questions you have in mind, slowly the answers begin to seep. It takes a while for it to fully seep in. Some of you might have had the experience. You have been pondering on a question for a long time, for many years. And suddenly one day you wake up in the morning, you don't know where the answer came from, but you know it. That is how the slow process of the Atma Vidya comes in because of the connectivity. And in one lifetime after the other, slowly it begins to evolve. Now, the purpose, the rebirth can happen based upon the state of your awareness at the time of death. So if somebody is fully purified, has high Atma Vidya, but at the time of death, if their awareness is in the physical world, they will come back into the physical world. Whereas on the other hand, a person who has even low Atma Vidya, but if the awareness is above the physical world, they will not come back. They are the people who will hang in the Pitarlok, and they are the people for whom to give, pass them on, to give relief. We do all the offerings so that we break down their karmas and they can overall, get relief and the soul can get dissolved. Okay, so now let's come back about the power of visualization and what does it do, and the different meditation techniques that are available. Now, many of you know the standard meditation technique that is given to everybody from the Indian tradition. And by the way, there are no, there is no restriction from anyone. Everybody can do the Gayatri Mantra. It doesn't matter, man or woman, and whether they are born in one family or another family makes no difference. Everybody can do the Gayatri Mantra. But the Gayatri Mantra is not a mantra related to vibration. The Gayatri Mantra is related to the power of intention. So understanding the mantra and the focus of the mind, that is what is the real element. And this is where the Gayatri Mantra is an approach of what you would call as Jnana Yoga, where the practice is the one that is the mantra, but finally the result should be the realization of the way in which we spoke about the Shambhopaya. So now in the Gayatri Mantra, you're mentally only saying, when you say Om Bhur Bhuvaswa, you're actually affirming that in the context of reality that goes beyond the physical world, the subtle world, vibration world, into the highest world, within that realm, what are you asking? Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. So you are focusing on the energy of the sun. And with the focus on the sun, you're asking for enlightenment. And from that enlightenment, may that effulgence spread to all of humanity, all of the world, or whatever, all of creation. So when you're asking with that, what is happening is constantly you're asking on this. So you continue with this lifetime after lifetime. As the purification, as the Atma Vidya begins to grow, what happens is your reactivity becomes less, your karma becomes less. And so at one point in time, you will experience that. Now, that is the approach of the Shambhopaya, which is the approach that we can deal with Jnana Yoga. Now, when it comes to the real practice of how we are being non-reactive, we can learn to be, becoming non-reactive right from the beginning is very difficult. However, the Yoga Sutra is very clear in saying, don't try to shoot for the moon when you have not learned to take your first step. So what do you do in the first step? Whenever you see something that people are doing in your mind is a bad thing, stay away from there and become less reactive. Instead of going there and trying to fight it and shout at them or beat them up or whatever, just calm your mind and say, those are places I don't want to go. I'm going away from there. This is called upeksha. Now, on the other hand, you see somebody who is doing something very good. Instead of, going and saying, wow, what a wonderful thing, be less reactive. Just mentally feel happy, but don't say anything, react little. So what are you doing? You're limiting your reactivity. That limiting your reactivity is the first stage. And what will that help? That will help you to calm your mind, and you can focus your mind anywhere. And then, of course, if you focus your mind on power of intention, and the intention is something like the Gayatri Mantra's focus, that would lead you over there. Now, again, all of this we are talking about is leading towards the Jnana Yoga with the power of intention. However, the next level that the Kashmir Shaivism talks about is Shaktopaya. So, the Upaya of Shakti. What is the Upaya of Shakti? The Upaya of Shakti is transcendental meditation. That is, if you find the equal and opposite mantra of all the programs that you are working within, for momentarily while the mantra is there and while you are absorbed within, it will create the passageway where the connectivity happens. And in that connectivity, Atma Vidya can grow. And as the Atma Vidya grows, slowly you begin to become less and less reactive. But there is a downside to it on the other side. The other side to it is, as you become more connected and you become more aware, you develop intuitive abilities. If you start using the intuitive abilities for personal and selfish purposes, for your own worldly purposes and all of that, then that will take you off the path of yoga. You may not be consistent with your swadharma, and it will take you different places. And you will again be back into the cycle of birth, rebirth. And of course, if you become very highly connected and you have high Atma Vidya, and if you use it for wrong purposes, in the next rebirth, you will be born as an autistic person. You will come into a body, but you will have all the innate abilities, but because connectivity will be broken out by the cosmos, you will be dysfunctional. So that is the Shaktopaya has to be used with care. It cannot be given to anyone whose purity and the mental state is not high enough. So many people ask me for mantras. Until they are ready, they will not get the mantra. And then the Shambho, after the Shaktopaya, the next comes the Anvopaya, which is the lower path. And what is the lower path? They have to go and experience their karmas and kleshas. And as they get purified, that is when they are ready for the next level of Shaktopaya, or whichever way it will finally, the purification will lead. And of course, the role of Anupaya is a state often associated. And again, this is something where I can bring a great degree of clarity to many of you. In the Indian system, very often, the way in which books are written and people have said and all of that, the concept of outcast, untouchable, the Shudras and all of that, there is nothing like that as people born in a family or anything. It is people who don't have the ability to think and therefore the ability to reform themselves. They are the people who belong over there. It is not what family you are born in. So, if you have a child in your family who is an invalid child, Down syndrome, that is the outcast. That is the Shudra. So we should not think in terms of in which family you are born. You should think in terms of where the state of awareness is. So with this as the understanding, for a person who is in that state, there is no upaya. And of course, in no upaya in a given lifetime. But what happens is, even for everyone, the divine process has a path to clear the way. So for those people, there are some very special techniques available where in one lifetime, they will not be able to reach that state. However, through multiple lifetimes, they can reform themselves and come back. So now I will open up, now that I have given you the span of the Jnana Yoga, I'll first come back to Mr. Srinivasan. And you asked about, I didn't even address specifically the sadhana chatushtaya, But if you want to go into that, we can go specifics over there. But I wanted to give the general landscape. Mr. Srinivasan, you want to ask a question? Let me allow you to unmute. I muted everyone. 1 second. Okay, now whoever wants to unmute can unmute. So Mr. Srinivasan, if you want to speak up, you can.
Yeah, so two things. You mentioned about 5 things, 5 upayas, Shamba,
No, 4 upayas.
3?
I mentioned 4 out of 3 are upayas, and the last one is called anupaya, which means no way to resolve out. Yes.
What is the third one? Shamba, Shakta, what is the third one?
Shamba, Shakta, and the third is Anvopaya. Anvo means lower upaya.
Okay.
And the last one is Anupaya, no solution.
Okay.
And this refers to the 4 types of people. And unfortunately, they have called it as caste. It is not caste. It is basically level of awareness, the level of purity, all of that.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Narayan,
Yes.
Dalpat Patel, I have one question.
Yeah.
Maharshi Raman, you said in the beginning that he has a knowledge of who he is or what. Did he tell us what happened to who he is or what? Or how are we getting that,
You see, once you know who you are, you realize you cannot explain it to others. So you keep quiet. Okay. Next question.
Yeah, so
I heard that Raman Maharshi was, Gayatri Mantra, Upasak of Gayatri Mantra, and from there he got all the knowledge. Is that right? Raman Maharshi?
Awareness of that. He might have been doing it because he was born in a South Indian Brahmin family, and when they do when they give the sacred thread, that's what they are asked to do. Okay. So, but I wouldn't place much importance to that. Next question. Sundaraji, go ahead.
Yeah, if the mantra is the communication, why does it change? Some mantras work for some time and sometimes it does not work.
Yes.
Then we have to change. Why does the communication channel change?
Very good question. Actually, what happens is mantra is not communication. Mantra is clearing the channel of communication, right?
Clearing.
So what happens is, the thing is, when there are, everything is dependent upon what the programs are within you. And what is the mantra meant to do? Create the equal and opposite vibration so that the disturbances that are coming from you are silenced. Now, if the programs within you are beginning to change too rapidly, then in which case the equal and opposite vibration is no longer valid. So that is why the mantra will change. However, there is one exception, and Yoga Sutra is very clear on that. The exception is, if you keep working on a mantra that has worked for you for a period of 3 months, and you work with that mantra without missing a day throughout your lifetime, that mantra, no matter how much your inner program change, will still continue to work. And so the reason is because you have created a system, a program within your system that if I do this, the communication must happen. So immediately it has the effect of quietening all the vibrations in the system.
Consistency.
Exactly. And that is why I tell people, if people keep asking me for a mantra every now and then, I ask the question, have you been doing your mantra faithfully previously? And if people say, oh, I missed out 1 week or whatever, after that, I have no interest in giving them a mantra again. Next question.
So going from Dvaita to Advaita. So,
I'll come to that. Mr. Srinivasan, you are going to say something?
yeah, they're trying to see how to go from Dvaita to Advaita. Dvaita to Advaita. In other words, initially.
This business of Dvaita and Advaita is completely irrelevant.
Okay.
The reason it is completely irrelevant is, what happens is, the created and the creator cannot be the same. However, all of creation is part of one cosmic entity which has come out of the same source. So in other words, Is a drop of water in the ocean the same as the ocean? Or is the drop of water, when you take it in a little, you take a little dropper and you suck out a drop of water from the ocean, is that drop of water different from the ocean? So you see what happens is, in reality, the whole discussion of Dvaita and Advaita is irrelevant, because what happens is, what is created is just a programmed entity. The reality from which the programmed entity has emerged, when that programmed entity is finished, it is only part of the reality. So the thing is, you see, anybody who thinks that by self-realization they become God, they're stupid. But on the other hand, by self-realization, there is no distinction between anything after that is real. And so this is the reason Ramana Maharshi explained this very well. Ramana Maharshi says, everything is Maya, everything is unreal. And so there is nothing over here. So in other words, the moment you realize all of this conversation, you and me, we are all unreal, then whatever is the real, that is the Advaita. However, so long as you feel that you exist over here, it is Dvaita.
So perception is reality, right?
Say it whichever way you like. If that's how you feel, you're Dvaita.
Okay, the other question.
Okay. Next, I'm going very quickly. Is there anybody else who has a question?
Yeah, but Ananda and Anantam, what is the difference between the two?
Okay. Anantam means unending. Anandam means joy, happiness, that bliss of that cosmic awareness. So the thing is, you see, so there are two different words entirely. Unending, that which goes on and on, is Ananta. Anta means end. That which has no end is Ananta. And Ananda is the state when you're in complete bliss of that cosmic awareness. Is that clear, Mr. Srinivasan?
Yeah, so how is the equivalence between the Ananta and Ananda, between Brahman and Atman? That's what I was trying to understand.
Okay. Let's clear a concept very much. This use of this word Brahman by all these scholars has confused the world completely. Okay? Brahma, there is nothing called Brahman, it is Brahma. Okay? And, in the divine flow, everybody has a role to play, and that is the cosmic Maya in force. So sometimes what happens is, scholars who come and spread the word, they spread a lot of disinformation, because that is the work of Mahamaya. Okay? And in cycle they go and go along. And in fact, when we look at the second president of India, that is President Radhakrishnan, he was a spiritual zero, but he has written scholarly stuff on so many things. And the core value of what he has written is zero. So the thing is, basically, if you look at this concept that you ask about what was that you asked me again? Tell me.
Brahma and...
Yes, Brahma. You see, what happens is, this word Brahman has come from all these academic scholars saying Brahman is totality. Okay? And to some extent, this has also come from the early writings of Shankaracharya. So, many of you may not be aware, Shankaracharya, while he wrote a lot of stuff and said a lot of stuff, he didn't become fully realized till the age of 28, where he got a kick on his backside in the Manikarnika Ghat from Parashiva himself coming and opening his eyes. When he went and said, "Hey, Chandala, stand out of my way." So he asked, replied back, "You mean the body or the soul?" And that's when Shankaracharya realized any misconception he has, that until that point in time, he did not have complete realization. And only at that point in time, after that, the true real understanding of it emerged in the Bhaja Govindam song. So the thing is, you see, All the previous writings of Shankaracharya's have blemishes in them. I will not say it is zero in knowledge, but there are blemishes in them. They are not complete and pure knowledge. So any case, so that too is part of the legacy of how the word Brahman comes. The Brahm itself means, Brahmayati means to create. So Brahma is the creator. So the moment you talk of Brahm, we look upon it as the created entity. But then the unmanifest behind the creation is not included in the Brahm. So when people try to say that, they are using the wrong word. The word, if you think in terms of the totality is Sat Chitta Ananda. Whereas on the other hand, if you want to look at what is beyond the created, it's called Parabrahma. And so you will see in many traditions the word Parabrahma used. So when you are talking about the equality of between Brahma and what now, Srinivasan?
Yeah, and Atman.
Brahman and Atman. But if you think of Brahman as the created, then in which case Atman is also the one that is created. And what is the Atman? Simply your wireless transmitter inside you that has its own identity from, each one of these transmitters in all our wireless devices have a little identity of their own. It is called the MAC ID. And so the MAC ID in you is your Atman. So your Atman is only the transmitter and nothing else.
So the Brahman and Atman are manifest, unmanifest is Parabrahma. That's what he said.
Parabrahma. And the thing is basically more and more, the point is, it is the nature of Mahamaya that there is a lot of disinformation created and to confuse the mind. And the thing is, you see, it is very interesting. If you look at the way Sanatana Dharma has come about, Vyasa brought about 33 religions together as one. He picked up all the elements from all these religions and created the 4 Vedas. And he separated out the Upanishads as the philosophical entity. Reading in one Upanishad, you cannot understand totality. So by integrating all of them, you can interpret totality. So the message of Vyasa was to bring unification in diversity. And so what happens is, if we get lost in that diversity, it confuses. That is why my recommendation to you is read less, but do more personal practice of bringing quietness and integration within yourself. Sleep more and keep quietness within more. And let the answers emerge from within, not from outside.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So any other last questions?
Dr. Rajan, this is Aarti. Can I ask you a question, please? And thanks for the wonderful discourse. I really, really enjoyed it. My question is, when we get these answers, it's like how do
I know what the question is. Aarti, what happens is, anytime there are desires within, and you ask a question wishing it was this way, the answer will reflect back your own desire and the answer will not be correct. Is that the question you were trying to ask me?
It's nothing to do with desire. I have a question and suddenly once I get an answer to that, my question is, how do I discern that the answer is imagination or an intuitive answer is my question to you.
That is the question I was trying to answer for you. Anytime there is innate, let's call it as impurity, and if you cannot be 100% unbiased, you cannot get the right answer. In fact, within our yoga group, when we researched many of these, there were like 4 or 5 people we will all gather together who have all the ability to inquire. And we will say the question is one, but we will not reveal the answer to any of them. And each one of us will ask them to ask the same answer, to ask the answer. And if all of them get the same answer, we know it was unbiased. But on the other hand, if only one person each person got a different answer, you know there were biases involved, right?
Okay. Okay.
So biases will distort the reception.
Okay, but the answers that I get sometimes it doesn't seem like my thoughts. They seem totally different. If I had come up with an answer, that answer would have been that. Wouldn't have been that.
Okay. The thing is, you see, what happens is we can have a one-on-one, discussion on this subject. What happens is subconscious thoughts can create biases.
Okay.
Okay. And so we can talk about it individually relative to your experience.
Sure. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. So namaste all, and
Thank you.
see you all
Thank you,
tomorrow.